Hey YouTube, it's Pokebro Jacob here coming at you with another video, and today I will be doing a deck tech talk with the Lapras deck. We're going to be talking about the Waterbox archetype, not the quad Lapras that everybody is thinking about lately at Malmo, but we'll be just talking about the basic Lapras deck that is running a lot of water support like Manaphy, Glaceon, and a lot of items like Max Elixir. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on that. So obviously, start off with the deck. We're going to be starting off with two Lapras GXs, pretty standard. You could consider running 3, but I wouldn't run any more than this in this deck, as that'll really eat into the space, and you really just don't need that many Laprases to get set up. Really, you'd only want 3 just in case one gets prized, so that you can at least have 2 guaranteed. And then also run 2 Tauros-GXs. This is a pretty good tech to have in this deck. You're running a lot of basics. You can use this as kind of a wall to get set up if you're having a slow hand and you can't really find the cards you need. And you can also Ninja Boy into it later from another Pokemon that's already got some damage on it. Use that Mad Bull GX to get an easy KO. So that's a pretty good card to have. Definitely, I would think a must in these water boxes. A lot of people don't include these, even though I think this is a pretty important card to have, especially with grass becoming a big part of the meta, is Glaceon-EX. I actually run 2 of these in my decks. That's not an actual standard. That's not typically what people run. I like to run 2 just in case one gets prized and I'm facing a grass attacker deck like Durantis. This becomes a really good tech to have in that deck. Gives you a lot of versatility and it can do a lot of different things, and believe it or not, that second bite attack comes in handy a lot more than you would think. Once you get one hit with a Blizzard Burn, and you can come in with Glaceon the next turn, use second bite, and finish it off. So it's actually a pretty good tech into this deck. And also definitely a must in any water box. You're going to want 2, probably want at least 1, maybe 2 Manaphy. I run 2 Manaphy. Really good to have. It's got its Aqua Tube ability, which allows you free retreat on anything with the water energy attached to it, which is obviously super useful since Lapras does have a 2 retreat cross, so that's a big deal if you have to retreat it. And it also means that you don't have to run float stones at all, so which is pretty nice. And then 1 Regice. This is a pretty good one to have if your opponent is running on all EX deck, which is kind of rare nowadays, but it's still pretty useful. You can kind of set up a wall with it, or use it as kind of a sacrificial lamb per se, if the opponent, you don't want them to take 2 prizes. Or you can Ninja Boy. What I'll do sometimes is Ninja Boy into it. If I have a Pokemon that I think they're going to try to Lysandre out to get the win, I'll Ninja Boy into a Regice, so if they try to Lysandre it, they only get the 1 prize instead of the 2 that they need. And then obviously, I've got proxies here, but these cards are on the way in the mail. Don't have them yet, but 2 Shaymin-EX, pretty good for its setup ability. Ultra Ball into it, draw some cards to get set up. Really helps speed up this deck, I think, and takes it to the next level. Brock's Grit, this is a really good card to tech into. You don't necessarily need Brock's Grit. I like to have this one because it's a supporter. A lot of people run Super Rod, or a lot of people run Super Rod or something like that, but I don't really like that because if it gets discarded early, then you don't have a way to get back your cards. The good thing about Brock's Grit is it's a supporter, so you can use VS Seeker to get it back out of the discard when you need it, and get those energies back into your deck. And then Kukui, I tech in 1. This is an iffy inclusion of the deck for me. I used to have Karen as a tech in against Vespiquen decks, kind of a counter to those. But really, I found Glaceon is more than enough to take care of those Vespiquen decks. You just play Glaceon the whole time, takes care of those, and I don't really feel a need to play Karen. So I included Kukui instead, just to give Lapras an extra 20 damage if need be on a turn, to try to get that extra oomph to get that knockout that you need. And also, this is pretty standard. Most decks do this. They run 4 Sycamore. You need that extra draw support. It's going to be big. There's a lot of item cards in this deck, so discarding item cards can be problematic sometimes. but I think you still run 4 Sycamore to kind of get that quickness in your draw. You have that extra draw support. And also, Pokemon Center Lady, that's big. There's a lot of healing going on in this deck. And I found myself using this card a lot, like a lot. And if you continually need it turn after turn, you can just VS Seeker for it, get it back, heal another 60 over and over. It's pretty good there. And then some people only run one of these, but I like to run two Pokemon Rangers. They're pretty essential in the deck. If you can't get 2 Lapras set up really fast, you're going to need Pokemon Ranger to clear the effects of Blizzard Burn really quickly after that. And if you run 2, there's a less chance of both getting your prize instead of just one getting prized. So if one gets prized, then you're kind of screwed, and that can be a problem. So I like to run 2. And also 1 Ninja Boy. There's an obvious reason for this. That's kind of the reason you include Tauros. Tauros works really well with the Ninja Boy. They don't see it coming. They put some damage counters on one of your other basic Pokemon. You Ninja Boy into Tauros, and either hit him with Rage or you hit him with Mad Bull, and it's really effective. It's such a good Pokemon. It's a good synergy. And 2 Ends. This is pretty good for draw support. If you don't want to discard the cards, I like having these in there, especially if I have a hand where I have cards that I simply can't get rid of. Like if I've got a hand with 4 Max Elixirs in it, or like a bunch of energy switches. Those are the things I'm not going to be able to get back if I discard them. So I'd rather end instead of Sycamore, because there's no way I can get those back. And let's see, 2 Lysandre. It's a pretty good tech in too. It's not bad, or it's pretty essential in any deck. Having 2 of them is pretty good. Obviously, the reason if you run just 1, you risk the chance of it getting prized, and if you really need it, then it could end up costing you the game. So I find it really important to run 2 of them, and it's also a better chance you're going to hit them when you need them if you have 2. And then 2 Rough Seas. It's pretty good tech in Energy Water deck. You heal 30 damage per turn. Pretty standard. Allows for a lot of healing. So really, you can heal about 90 HP per turn if you got the Pokemon Center Lady in play. A really good combination. You can really heal damage super fast, and it can make those Laprases a lot harder to knock out, and you really can't one-hit KO them without weakness. So that's pretty nice. And then also you run 2 Dive Ball. There's really all basics in this deck, so you could consider, instead of running Dive Ball, you could run 2 Nest Balls pretty easily and get away with it. It's not a big deal. I like running Dive Ball. It's just my preference. It's a bunch of water type Pokemon, so there's no point in running anything else. So there's no reason you can to say that you couldn't run Nest Ball though if you really wanted to. And then 2 Trainers Mail. This is a staple in most decks. You can find trainers when you need them. There's a lot of trainers, so if you play Trainers Mail, there's a really good chance you're gonna hit some trainers. It's about half this deck's trainers, so it's pretty good to run. Then you have Energy Switch. I've run 3 of them actually, which is quite a bit, but there's a lot of high cost attacks in this deck. So you really want to conserve energy really well. So if you decide that energy needs to be on a different Pokemon, you made a mistake attaching it to another, you can easily correct that mistake with Energy Switch, or you can use it to get a really fast setup. So for example, you start turn 1. You start with you don't want to start with Lapras in the active on turn 1. You want to start with something else like a Manaphy or any other Pokemon, as long as you got a Manaphy on the bench. So what you do, you put another Pokemon in the active, attach a Water Energy, and then you keep milling through your deck, put a Manaphy on your bench, put a Lapras on your bench, Max Elixir the Lapras twice, retreat the Glaceon with the Water Energy attached to it, since you have free retreat because of Manaphy's ability. You put Lapras in the active, then you use Energy Switch and switch the energy from the Glaceon onto the Lapras that's in the active, and boom, you've got Lapras set up turn 1. It's that easy, and get set up turn 1. I would say about half the time. This deck's really fast if you play it well. And then you have playset of Versus Seeker, pretty standard. You're going to need to get some of those supporters back in your hand to be able to use them. There's a lot of really important supporters in this deck that you're going to want to have access to, so Versus Seeker is pretty good. and 3 Ultra Ball. These are for the Shaymins. You're going to want to have plenty of Ultra Balls to be able to get those Shaymins in play, speed up your turns, get Lapras set up really fast, and also Fighting Fury Belt, 3 of them. I would say at least 3, if not 4. You could maybe run a 4th if you found something you didn't like in this list and scrap that. Maybe run a 4th. But I think 3 is a pretty good number. That's plenty. You're not going to need too much more than that. I would say 3 is pretty good. You add 40 HP to your Pokemon, basic Pokemon, do 10 more damage. It's a no-brainer. It turns Lapras' 160 into 170. And that's really the magic number, because there's a lot of 170 HP EXs that you're going to need to knock out with this Fighting Fury Belt. And it also makes Lapras' HP 230, which makes them incredibly hard to knock out, especially with all the healing that's going on in this deck. So I think that's a really good included in this deck. Also, you're going to run around 4 Max Elixir. Pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to get as many basic energy on those Pokemon as fast as you can on the bench to get set up super fast. This deck is incredibly fast, especially with these Max Elixirs in there, so that's a really good item card to include in the deck. And then also, I include 12 basic water energy. Basic water energy is crucial. I would not consider running double colorless in this deck at all, or any type of special energy. Besides, maybe you could run splash energy, but I really don't like to run special energy, because Max Elixir you can't access special energy with Max Elixir. It only works with basic energy, and also Energy Switch only works with basic energy. So if you include splash energy, you can't move it, and you can't attach it with Max Elixir, so it really does not work well in this deck. I would say only stick to basic water energy. I wouldn't really consider running any basic, and that's pretty much the gist of the deck. If you have any questions about the decks or comments or things that you would change, feel free to say something in the comments. And yeah, thanks you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.